Hey guys, welcome back to the Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker walkthrough. The Wind Waker HD walkthrough, that is. This is part C of chapter 4, where we will be tackling the second dungeon, the Forbidden Woods. So what you want to do right away is head to the right and head up the ramp. This first room, there are a lot of green choo-choos in here, so make sure you take care of them. And you can open the chest for the dungeon map. So yeah, we got the dungeon map right away. This dungeon is probably, in terms of progression of the game, as far as how many hearts you have, your abilities at this point, is probably the hardest dungeon in the game. Although, at the same time, it's also probably the shortest dungeon in the game. Maybe Dragon Ridge Cavern's a little bit shorter, but this one, for some reason, always feels a lot shorter to me. I also like this dungeon quite a bit, personally, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite dungeons in the game too. Probably is my favorite dungeon. Anyways, after you've opened the chest, head to the left side of the room and pick up the nut and throw it at the flower that's in the middle of the door. If you went towards the door, the flower would close and you wouldn't be able to do anything to it. In this next room there are some Deku Babas. You can take care of them both on the right and the left after you jump down, and then pick up one of the sticks that they leave behind. Then you want to light the stick on fire and go towards the flower in the middle, which you'll just set on fire. Then you can take care of the green choo-choos that appear. You're going to be dealing with green choo-choos a lot, but halfway through the dungeon we'll find a very nice way of dealing with them, so don't worry about that too much. If they're not in their, I guess, ground form, you can use the Deku Leaf to stun them, or the grappling hook, but the grappling hook will only stun them for half a second or so, so the Deku Leaf is definitely the best option. Anyways, open the chest for a Knight's Crest. This is a very important chest to get in this dungeon if you want a special upgrade as early as possible in the game. So, yeah, I highly recommend getting that chest, although it is definitely not... It's definitely not required for you to get that. After that, you can head into the Deku Baba Flowers and fly over to the different Deku Baba Flowers till you get up to the platform with the door. So there's another flower on the door there, and if you get close to it, it'll close, but there are no nuts nearby that we can throw at it. But you notice there's a bomb flower on the right side of the little platform here. So you want to take care of the green choo-choos without setting off the bomb flower, because that would be really annoying. Sometimes it'll knock you all the way off. Then pick up the bomb flower and throw it at the door while staying far enough away so that the flower is still open. You can still see the blue part of the flower. It'll be destroyed and you can head through the door. Here's a pretty simple room. Just use your Deku Leaf to hit the little propellers on your left, and then once you hop on the platform that comes by, use your Deku Leaf going towards the back side so that it'll propel you forward. So these enemies, they're not technically new, but I'm going to cover them now. These are P-Hats, and they're actually pretty annoying when they're in large numbers. One thing that you want to do with every P-Hat you find in this dungeon, though, is use your grappling hook, because their spoil is golden feathers, and they will rarely give you golden feathers as a drop. So you can get a guaranteed golden feather out of all of them. That's why I said in the last chapter, if you didn't get golden feathers from the card rocks, it's alright, because we can get a ton in this dungeon. And when I say a ton, we can almost have enough to finish the side quest that is required for them. So anyways, on the left side, or on the right side, there's a Deku Baba who after you kill him will turn into a Deku Baba flower. You can hop into that and then hop up on the platform, and you'll see there's another propeller and another flower that we can't get by the door. So use your Deku Leaf and bring the platform over to you. Then you can jump on the platform and use the Deku Leaf towards the backside to propel yourself the other way. Now, I actually messed up my jump here, but it was a happy coincidence because it led me to a treasure chest that I almost forgot about. I wouldn't have gotten this treasure chest if I didn't mess this jump up, so lucky enough for me. So yeah, you want to hop down here, and if you mess your jump up, you can grab this treasure chest for 20 rupees. Also, I think you can just use your Deku Leaf from the Deku Baba flower, but I would have completely forgotten that treasure chest if I hadn't messed up my jump. So if you are in need of 20 rupees, go ahead and grab that treasure chest. Otherwise, it's not required at all. The nut will eventually disappear, but you are given well enough time to throw it at the flower, so don't worry about that. You don't need to speed or anything. In this room, take out your Deku Leaf and right away blow the nut off because there are thorns that guard it. Yeah, so you might just rush in here to grab it and the thorns will come up and you'll hit them and get hurt. So not too good if you're playing hero mode especially. Then head through the door and we'll come to the main hub room of the dungeon. Head to your right here and pull out your grappling hook to grapple onto the next platform. And I think I ended up falling here, so or not quite yet. Alright, so you can pick up the nut and then head across the center, jump across to the platform, and then throw the nut at the door. So when you're in here, these little balls that'll stick to you will come out, and those are called morths. I'll talk more about them later. In this room, you want to head up and then to the left and down around this spike maze, as I do in the video. Then pick up the bomb flower, place it against the wall, then pick up the bomb flower again and throw it up to the platform that you can't get to because of the thorns. So that's how you open up the wooden planks there on the other side. So then you can open the chest on the left side of the room for the compass, so now we can see all the treasure chests in the dungeon. Now we're going to have to head around and get up on that platform. So go through the maze as I am in the video. I took a wrong turn right there, but just be cautious as you're going through here so that you don't hit the thorns, because they will hurt you. And like I said, it's especially deadly if you're playing hero mode because there are no hearts to recover you. Then you can open the chest for a small key. Now you can head in the Deku Baba flower, hop up and use your leaf. So there are 3 pots up here. We'll get them all. There's something nice in each of them. In the first pot there were 2 recovery hearts, although they won't be there in hero mode. in the pot on the highest platform there is a joy pendant, so make sure you grab that. And then in the pot on the lowest platform there is some magic. So after that you can fly back over to the door so that you don't have to go through the thorns again. And back in this room, I'll talk more about morphs now. These little things, they won't do damage to you, but you can get off of them by doing a spin attack or by rolling, or get them off of you by doing a spin attack or rolling. You'll damage them and probably kill them if you do a spin attack. And also in this room you can jump down in the little crevice there to grab 10 rupees. But the morphs will, what they do is they slow you down. If there are more on you, you won't be able to move as much. So sometimes there'll be lots of enemies in a room and they'll just be a hazard, and they're pretty annoying, so you want to get them off as fast as possible. And this is where I fell. This is what I was thinking of earlier. If you fall down here, it's no big deal. There are Deku Babo flowers that can bring you back up. So just use those and your Deku Leaf. I decided to keep this in instead of cut it, just in case anyone else fell down there. Although it's pretty obvious what to do. So now you can head through the locked door, and in this room there's some more P-hats, so grab the golden leaves from them, and you probably won't be able to defeat them right now. They're invincible. I don't think I mentioned this earlier. They're invincible when their propellers are going. You can't hit them with your sword. You can use your Deku Leaf to kind of stun them and stop their propellers going, but in this room you won't be able to hit them because they just fall into the water and get their propellers back. Once you head through the door here, there's some Deku Babas and a new enemy. These are Mathulas. You want to go ahead and they will shoot morts at you, which is really annoying. You can parry their attacks. It'll take 2 hits to defeat them. I recommend getting the quick spin down. It'll make them a lot easier to deal with if you can quick spin and get the morphs off of you. Anyways, head through the Deku Baba flower and hop up to the 2nd level. Deal with the P-hats here as best you can. Sometimes they'll fall down and you won't be able to get to them, so you'll just have to leave them and let them fight another day. And then head up to the 2nd level. Or I guess the 3rd level technically. There should be 3 P-hats up here, so make sure you grab all their golden feathers. And actually in this room you can grind for, you can keep exiting and re-entering this next room we're going to go in, and they will all respawn with more golden feathers. So that's pretty nice. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to have enough anyways, but head through the only door you can right now, and we will fight the mini boss of the dungeon, which is the actual Mathula. So this is the actual Mathula because this one actually has wings. You can use your grappling hook to get a golden feather out of him. I completely forgot about that, but you can try and do that. The best way to deal with him right now is to just parry his attacks. He'll shoot morphs at you. Use your spin attack, your quick spin if you can to get rid of it. And then just wait for him to, you have to be kind of fast on the parry. After you hit him about 4 times, his wings will fall off and he'll turn into a regular Mathula. And then you can just deal damage to him as you normally would. So I got lucky here, and in his little emblem thing, he dropped a golden feather. But like I said, to get the guaranteed drop, you want to use your grappling hook. Then you can open the chest for the dungeon item, The Boomerang. The Boomerang is one of the coolest items and one of the most useful, probably the most useful item in the game. It can one-shot a lot of enemies, a lot more than it could in Ocarina of Time. And you use it so seamlessly and so fast, you can use it to fight large groups of moblins and bokoblins really, really easily. So it's a very useful item. I recommend always having it as one of your 3, if not always, you know, very close. And you'll see right now as I fight these P-hats, you just do it twice on them, they'll lose their propeller, and then you hit them again and it'll kill them. It's such a nice tool. So anyways, once you're on the 3rd floor here, use your grappling hook and climb up. And then use your grappling hook again and just stop and drop over the platform. Then there are these weird moving platforms. You can hop on those to get up to a treasure chest. If you don't fall, of course, like I did. So at this point in the dungeon, we are actually almost over. I would say we're more than halfway done with the dungeon. There are a couple more optional things we can get, but if you're not going for any optional things, there's only about 3 more rooms in the dungeon, really, that we haven't explored. So this right here is obviously optional. It's a joy pendant, but they're good to have, especially because they are required. Then you want to hop down and go to the other side of the room that we couldn't go in before with the 2 flowers. This boomerang, also unlike Ocarina of Time, can multi-target. So as soon as you point it at anything that's that's targetable, it'll automatically target it. Unlike Twilight Princess, where you have to push the Z button if you're the Z button or the L button, whatever version you're playing that game. But in this room, you want to use your boomerang and take down a bunch of these hanging nuts. That didn't sound right. Take those down, and then you can fly across. Make sure you put up your Deku Leaf at the peak of your jump, and then open the chest for a Joy Pendant. So now we're at the top of this hub room, and you want to target all 5 of the vines that are holding up the flower thing in the middle of the room, and it'll drop down to the bottom floor, the basement floor. So we can hop down there now, but I'm going to show you guys one other thing. You can fly across the room and get to this little platform here. I could have done this earlier, but I figured this is just the easiest time to get it. Use your Deku Leaf on the pile of leaves there, and it revealed the middle warp pot. So there's one more warp pot, but this one is the middle one. So if you ever have to go back to the dungeon, or you have to save and quit, you can come back to this room really easily. So then you want to drop down to the basement floor and head through the door that's down here. So in here there are some morths and a P-hat. Take care of the P-hat right away. And then you can target the morths on the platforms with your boomerang. So that's what I usually do in this room. Although they're not, you know, harmful to your health, they'll just kind of slow you down. So if you want to jump on there and just do a spin attack, that works too. Then you can hop from platform to platform to get to the right side of the room. And there are green choo-choos, but I usually just ignore them here. In this room, before doing anything with the vines, hop across the flower platform and open the chest for 10 rupees, sorry. Then, you can use your hook or your boomerang to destroy the vines on the flower, and then go down and hop on the flower. There's an Octorok down here, so take care of him with your shield. Remember that you don't need to tilt your shield in any special way. His bullet will automatically go back at him. Then pick up the bomb flower on the left side and throw it at the large planks on the right side and head through this door. This is an optional part of the dungeon. This is just getting an optional chest, so if you don't care about this chest, you can skip forward a little bit in the video. One thing I haven't showed that well, I just showed it now, that the boomerang can do, it can one-shot Deku Babas. So that's really nice. Now we don't have to worry about those pesky Deku Babas at all anymore. So use your boomerang on those guys, and then keep jumping across the platforms until you get to the higher platform in the room. Once you get to this higher platform, use the Deku Baba flower that appears, and use your Deku leaf to get up to the highest platform in the room. Here you'll see there's another propeller that we can hit to bring a platform towards us. So do that, hop on the platform, and just as we've been doing the whole dungeon, use your Deku leaf to get across the room. Now there's a bomb flower here, and if you would have looked in the hole in the middle, there is a flower on top of a treasure chest. So use the bomb flower and throw it inside the hole in the middle, and that will blow up the flower, revealing a treasure chest. From here you can jump and use your Deku leaf to get into the hole, and then you can open the treasure chest for treasure chart number 15. So I don't think I explained this in the last chapter in the dungeon video, but every dungeon in this game will have 2 treasure charts, with one exception, and I'll talk about that when we get there. But pretty much every dungeon in this game has 2 treasure charts, and I will be covering them all, obviously, as this is a 100% walkthrough. So anyways, you can head out the door you came, and then use your, well, first you can take care of the Octorok, and then you can use your shield to take care of the Octorok, and use your boomerang to once again hit down the vines on the flower that's above you, because they respawned. And then, now we know where Minish Cap got its inspiration with the Gust Jar and Leaf puzzles, because now with this flower we can use our Deku Leaf to propel it the way we go. So use your Deku Leaf on the back side of the flower and you'll propel forward. And around the corner there are 2 more Octoroks, so be careful. Make sure you're paying attention to them. Take care of them and make your way to the other side of the room. Now in here you see there are 5 switches, and there's a treasure chest behind some bars. So go to the top of the large platform here, and use your boomerang to hit all of the switches in the order that I'm doing it in the video. Because there's a large tree in the way, you have to do it in either this order or the reverse order. So after you do that, the bars will open, you can hop down and open the chest for the big key. So now we can go to the boss store, but there's 2 more treasure chests that we want to get before we do that. Also, after that happens, moblins will come out, so I'm going to show you, well, first of all, get the guaranteed drop from their skull necklaces by using your grappling hook. And then you can use your boomerang really quickly on these guys to stun them and make sure they're stunned, and then you can just go up and hit them. The boomerang makes these guys almost a joke to fight. Just make sure that if you knock them back too far, you back up yourself, because they do have some long-range attacks that can hit you from pretty far away. So if they're not stunned, they still can do some good damage to you. And as soon as you hit them once with your sword, they will stop being stunned. So after you defeat them, you want to head back up to the top of the hill platform. You pull out your grappling hook and then grapple up, and the game will, I guess it's kind of lenient here, and it automatically brings you up to that platform. Then you can head out, and we're back in the room we were in before, just on the left side of that room. Well, from this perspective, it's the right side of the room. And there's some chews here, some choo-choos. But now with the boomerang, you can even stun them when they're in their ground form. So the boomerang even makes them easier. This is why the boomerang is one of my favorite items in this game. It probably is my favorite item, to be completely honest. I use it heavily, and you'll see that throughout the playthrough. So back in this room, how are we ever going to get up? Well, if you noticed before, there's a propeller down here that we can hit with our Deku Leaf. So go ahead and do that, and it'll create a huge gust of wind, almost like a tornado coming from the flower. Then you want to hop into the Deku Baba flower, and as you jump out, use your Deku Leaf to go up, and it'll bring you to the first floor, the first basement floor of the dungeon. Then use your boomerang to destroy the blue flowers on the door there, and head through. There are 2 Mathulas in here, so I recommend using your boomerang to stun them and taking one on at a time. This is actually kind of a difficult fight, just because these enemies are kind of hard to fight. They're probably one of the hardest enemies in the game to not take hits from. So if you're playing hero mode, these guys can be a real bugger. Once you defeat them, the doors will become unlocked, and a treasure chest will appear. So you can open the treasure chest for a joy pendant. So we should have quite a bit by now if you've been following the walkthrough. Anyways, head through here, and you can see that the boss door is right up there. But there's a warp pot, and we want to go back towards the beginning of the dungeon to grab another treasure chest. So I think you might be sensing a theme if you remember from the last dungeon we had to do this. Most dungeons are actually like that. To get the wood off of this pot, pick up a stick that's in a jar, and then light it on fire and light the wood on top of the pot. Then you can head in the warp pot or warp jar. This will bring you back to the first room of the dungeon. So in this room, head through the door, and we're back in the room that we want to be in. The room where we got the Knight's Crest early in the game. So hop in the Deku Baba flower, and make your way up to the platform that we were on before with the bomb flower. If you noticed when we were here before that there was another Deku Baba flower that we could use, then you can go ahead and use it and make your way even higher into the dungeon. So As you get higher, there will be a Deku Baba here, but you can break the pot for another Joy Pendant. And then take care of the Deku Baba to reveal another Deku Baba leaf, or flower. Hop in it and fly across to the other high platform in this room. Then you can use your boomerang to destroy the flower and open the treasure chest. Then you want to just head back to the warp jar, and if you got the middle warp jar, jump back into that and go back to the boss, the room right before the boss room. One thing I want to point out about the Deku Baba flowers, if you've noticed, I haven't been needing to refill my magic that much. A lot of the grass in this dungeon does have magic pots, but all of the Deku Baba flowers refill your magic when you use them, so that's pretty nice. And if you are low on magic before going to the boss, don't worry, you won't need magic to defeat him. Another thing to remember for this boss, if you're playing the Wii U version and you're used to the GameCube version at all, the controlling for aiming is a little bit different. In the GameCube version, you used your the left stick to aim. In this one, you use the right stick to aim and the left stick to move. So it makes this boss a little bit easier, actually. But sometimes I forget that, and I want to use the left stick to aim. So just remember that you use the right stick to aim, and it kind of makes it more of a first-person experience, where you can move while you're aiming. So anyways, you come in here, and Makar is there, and he gets eaten by this Deku Baba plant, I guess. So why not just use our boomerang on him, one-shot him? But he has this big ol' Deku Baba flower that protects him, that gets attached to the ceiling. So, any guesses on how we defeat this guy? We use our boomerang to hit him down. So this is Kalle Demos. He really only has 2 attacks, and they're all with his little tentacles. One of them, he'll send his tentacles underground to come get you, which is kind of annoying because they'll just keep coming after you. And as you're aiming for all of his vines that are keeping him on the ceiling, you'll want to stay moving still as you're aiming. So that's why I said it'll make it a little bit easier to hit him. Then, after you get all the vines down, you just want to start hitting him. He will eventually, I guess, regain his form and then spit you back up. If you're playing hero mode, do not let him do this. This does a whole heart of damage regularly, and in hero mode, that does 2 hearts of damage, which will kill you very fast. So, if you're playing hero mode, definitely get 3 or 4 hits in and then just back off. So if you're playing the regular mode, though, you can, if you've been following the walkthrough and have as many heart pieces that I do, and have 5 hearts, you can afford to be eaten up a couple times. So, plus there are hearts in the grass around the edges. So, this is the only part to this boss. You just keep doing this until you've dealt enough damage to the main head, and then you have beaten the dungeon. So after you beat Kalle Demos, make sure you grab his heart container, and then head to the center of the room, where you will see a cutscene with the Deku Tree and you getting Pharaoh's Pearl. But that's all we're doing in this chapter, so thanks for watching, and make sure you head to your boat, back to your boat, after that, and I will meet you for the next chapter, chapter 5. So see you guys then.